And now boxing fans introducing the principals. Wearing the red trunks with the white trim, he is weighing in at 158.5 pounds. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ladies and gentlemen, here is Frank, the Animal Fletcher. Fletcher.
Well, I put a hole in your head.
You know. Excuse me.
Frank.
At the age of 5 years old, and in and out of jail, getting locked up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you know. I was there going back and forth to the youth study center with my mother, and my mother just told the people that she couldn't do nothing with me to lock me up, and from there they locked me up, and from there that's when my journey started to become the guy that I am now today, Frank the Animal Fletcher. Even though then I had so many names, they was calling me Dirt Man, Yule Brennan, Bird, Freak, and then one day I became Frank the Animal Fletcher, a name that I would always look down for, that I needed a name to call me, to make it positive for me, and I became Frank the Animal Fletcher through the fight world. All them other names is dead.
Animal Fletcher likes to refer to his boxing style as the power of the animal. That refers to his strength as a powerful inside puncher, but his punchers have been answered by Kurt Jackson that time. Not answered. Fletcher. Kurt Jackson with the hook. And Fletcher coming alive.
Frank Fletcher was one of the most courageous fighters I've ever seen.
You pay money to watch a guy fight, that's probably what you're looking for.
He was a brawler, and he scored a lot of knockouts, but he wasn't like the biggest puncher. He was just a force, but he was vulnerable. He would get hit, he would get hurt, he would get cut.
He was a street brawler. Put those gloves on him and away you go. He never was in a bad fight, whether he was winning or losing, and he became a darling on NBC.
Every Saturday and every Sunday there were great fights. Fletcher came along, and he was a guy that was born for television. So Frank Fletcher did come along at the right time.
Terrifying. People were legitimately terrified of him. Definitely the guy that, like, you knew you were in for a tough night. You saw him walking in, you were probably thinking to yourself, man, this might be a mistake.
This is Southwest Philadelphia, where my father and me and all my uncles grew up at. And we're coming up on a place where you interviewed my father over 20 years ago. So this is the block right here, the 1400 block of Hanson Street, where you interviewed my dad. The house is no longer here. They tore it down.
Which was the house? Do you remember? Where?
Right here.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a good street fighter, and to say that I've boxed before, I never boxed until I came out of Homburg prison in 1979, because I seen a fight on TV and they had belts and I wanted a belt. And I didn't know how to get them, but I went through boxing. And I wound up getting 3 belts through boxing. Boxing was good to me. But I had told everybody in Homburg on E Block that I'm going home, get me a belt. And they laughed at me like I was crazy. Until 1980, they heard of a guy by the name of Frank the Animal Fletcher, but they didn't believe that it was me because nobody showed my picture on TV until I fought in the Berto Sabaton in 1981, and I became the USBA middleweight champion of the world. And from there, everybody believed that I was going to do what I was going to do.
Now I'm going to take you to Lucille's. Okay. My Uncle Dick Turner, he lived right here.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, this was his house, 1344. But this is where it all started. Right here, 1320 South 46th Street.
But what are your memories of Lucille?
Me. Me watching her on the TV, screaming and yelling up and down the rules. Howard Cosell loved her.
Yeah.
She didn't take no mess though. I wouldn't say she was me. I just say she ain't take no mess off of anybody.
Five brothers and two sisters. And through that, I guess she loved fights like we love it, you know. So through that, we glad that she comes to all our fights and cheers on. I think that if she was the only one there, we still would be glad because she'll make it look like it's a whole house full of people.
What do you think led you astray? What led you into trouble?
Well, for me being abused, you know, for me being abused by my mom, maybe it was something for me to get away, how to run, and I never knew how to run because, see, when I was growing up, it wasn't such thing as called abuse. It was called a whipping, and that's it. I mean, they could take and drop a car on you, and that's a whipping. You understand? When I was growing up, or whatever, hit you in the head with a pipe or whatever, that's a whipping. But maybe from being abused, for me, running back and forth to jail was my out from getting away from it, you know. And like I said, I'm glad that I'm still alive. I'm glad that the things that I did to people that was wrong, you know, I'm very sorry to it right now to this day. But, you know, I'm saying I learned through my own mistakes, not because somebody told me. I listened to everybody, but then I got to learn the hard way, my way. If I don't learn my way, then I won't learn it. And that's what really happened to me through my life, you know. I tell any kids, go to school.
I don't want y'all to think that Franklin is the only son I have. I have three other ones right here. And Benjamin, I'm going to turn my son Benjamin welterweight, so watch out, coaches. We're coming.
My mom disciplined us, right? She was real strict. She do something wrong, or you don't do this on time, she always come here. We know you pop right here, right? So that's how I tell you every word. I tell you, I saw her learn how to slip punches. My mom told me we little kids. We know we come over here. We slip right here. So we had our emotion. My mom, she was no joke, and she was tough. She gave her tough love, and that much made me and Frankie like the fighter we really was. You know what I'm saying? Cause we had it. We wouldn't get out the way, punches and all that. You know what I'm saying? Cause she was rough. Mom was rough, and so man, we love her to death though.
You watch the TV Frank Fletcher fight, and you would often see Anthony there, but more than anybody, you'd see Frank, their mom, Lucille Fletcher, who was his biggest cheerleader. You know, the cameras could barely stay on the ring because she was such a sideshow. And then I found out later that there is a great family history because Lucille's brother is a guy named Dick Turner, who was a really great prospect in the 1960s from Philadelphia, and he was a guy who started fighting really good fighters very early in his career. So I guess he was kind of thrown to the wolves. But Dick Turner was, you know, a major talent, but he suffered a detached retina, and in those days, your career was over. And he said that his sister, Lucille Fletcher, was the toughest one in the family, taught him how to fight. If he got beat up on the street, she'd go and avenge that beating. She was a tough character, and nobody messed with her.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you to the front of the park because this is where my dad actually jogged around here. This is Johnson's playground. This is where my dad, my uncles, and them basically ran around here almost every day of the summer with scorching weather, trash bags on, especially my father. You can see him probably jogging this 100 times a day. So, got him in shape for some of his best fights.
Can you still see him in your mind's eye running?
Oh yeah. I'll be over there playing basketball with my friends and my cousins or on swings and stuff, and you just see him running around. He probably ran longer than we played basketball. We could leave and come back and he'll still be jogging around here, running, getting in shape.
My lifetime in and out of prison, I spent about 22 years.
How old are you now?
I'm 39 years old. Do you think spending that time in prison helped make you become Frank the Animal Fletcher? Yes, it did. Most definitely. Spending time in prison helped me to become Frank the Animal Fletcher because, you know, I was on welfare getting $72 and I didn't know nothing. I didn't know how to read. I barely know how to write because I didn't know how to read. If I wrote something, I had to ask somebody, how you spell this word? So through that, boxing really helped me, you know. Oh, I always wanted to be a singer like my dad was, you know. Singing was my thing, you know, and when I used to smoke reefer and drink wine at a young age, you know, it messed my voice up. I know I ain't no tennis player and I couldn't be no doctor because I ain't never had an education. So I went to where it didn't take no learning to fight. It's easy to fight. Kids can fight. So I took that up, went into the ring with Mr. Reverend Elvin Thompson, who was my trainer and manager, with Marty Feldman, who was my co-manager. Both of them took me to riches, from rag to riches. We all did this together, you know. Russell Peltz had a little something to do with it because he was my promoter. But like I said, I'm just glad to know that I'm still alive. I'm glad that I can be people still remember me as one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. You know, maybe hope that one day when they put a boxing Hall of Fame somewhere, it don't take a long time for me to get put in it, you know, because I've been there.
That's right.
And I want all these kids to know that if y'all want to take up boxing, go to school first, you know, get education, you know, and things of that nature.
I remember a lot about my uncle. And my uncle, he was cool. And I always remember him talking the way he talked now, like real low. I always remember he talked like that. That's where my Uncle Anthony lived at when I was growing up, the Peach House. Yeah, that was my dad's candy store in the 80s and also the place where my Uncle Anthony had caught the case that put him on death row.
And I'm saying, man, Frank, we say we're going to be champs. So right there, Frank backed me up, I backed him up. Every fight he tell me what to do, I'm telling him what to do. You know, so, and the whole family say, man, y'all done good. My brother Troy, yeah, he's good. Little bantamweight, 120 pounds, but he doesn't reach, he didn't want to reach out like we did, go farther. I just thought, I know boxing was a job for me. Where we went, people treated us with respect, you know what I'm saying? And just bow down to it, man. Frank and I'm with Frank, my brother, right? I know how wild he gets sometimes, right? So at me, I know. I cool him out. See, right, Frank. And I took Frank running. He liked to run with me, right? So I know I run, and I know he gonna get in shape for this fight. Don't be messing around. So I kept my eye on him, man. Like, he watched me, I watched him. And that, like, we grew together. Frank, man, he was a dude, man. You hit him, he gonna hurt you.
My brother Anthony,
Tell me about his boxing career
he's a great fighter. My brother Anthony fights better than me because he's the moving fighter. You know, I just bang, bell ring, and go straight. Yeah, I ain't doing no backing up. My brother Anthony is a great fighter, you know, and he had great abilities in fighting, and, you know, and then he had that bad Bella palsy attack, you know, to mess his face up and everything, and, you know, and then he done went and got himself into trouble. I feel, you know, real bad for him because he's my brother, and I would really like to see him, but I know that if I see him, I got to go back to the penitentiary, and I'm not trying to go back there. I'm not, you know, and I wish the best for him, and he's a great fighter, you know, and I got another little brother named Troy Fletcher. He's a great fighter too. He just got finished fighting last week down in Louisiana. You know, he's a great fighter, upcoming fighter, which, you know, he's nice and he can fight, you know. He's more so a brawler like me, which he think he can beat me, but I know he can't, you know. When I think about my brother and the situation that he's in, I think a bad thing because I've been to the penitentiary. And I know what it's about, you know. And I know what it's about when a man tell you that you're gonna die in an electric chair or get a legal ejection, you know, because then if you're married, your wife leave you know. They don't want to see you no more. They got new boyfriends, new men, you know. I hope the best if you got life, you know. You got a better chance with life in prison than you have a better chance on death row. So, you know, I wish the best for my brother. I want to see him do good, and I hope he get out one day. I hope I see him, and I ain't got to get locked back up just to go see him. You know, that's the way it is.
If you could say something to him now, what would you say to him?
I would say that our mama always told us that when you make your bed hard, you got to sleep in it. And you wouldn't listen to me when you got shot down South Philly, when I was telling you about the love of God, when I was sending you flowers, sending you Bibles in the hospital, and when you came up Dallas, when you got out the hospital to visit me all shot up and all that. And if you would have listened to me, my brother, you wouldn't be in this predicament right now.
Were you guys very close, or how would you describe your relationship with Anthony?
Me and my brother Anthony was very close because around this neighborhood, I'm originally from down 47th and Woodland. And when we had a gang, I was from 47th and Reinhardt Street. In my time, and when people came down there starting trouble, the first thing they go say, go get Frank and Anthony. You know, it was me and him. You know, and anybody that came down 47th and Woodland with a lot of crazy stuff, they had to see my gang down there, Reinhardt Street gang. And me and my brother was up there in the front. You know, and they know if they beat my brother, they got to see me. So it ain't too many people wanted to fight my brother. And they know not to hurt my brother because it's been real dangerous because they know how to got there.
They shot my dad on 2 times. And I stopped it. Probable cause. I learned that law. How you going to execute me? The hospital records say point blank, cause of death. His mother refused further operation intervention and request to have us make DNRCA, do not resuscitate. If I never got them hospital records, I might not be here today. Because it's in black and white. And I'm saying to myself, how can they do this?
What was it like when you finally walked out and got your freedom? How did you feel on that day?
I was surprised. I was fighting so long. It didn't never come, but I never gave up. And I said to myself, I'm going the distance. So that they knock me out or kill me, I'm going the distance.
This was Southwest Youth Center. And my dad, my uncle, any boxer you can think of from South Philly came through here when they was kids. Now my homie Jermaine, he owns it now, turned into a mechanic shop, try to teach people who've been incarcerated, you know, auto and parole stuff, you know, how to fix cars and everything. So this is the spot where it all started. I didn't make it through here. It was shut down before I could make it through here.
Did you ever box at all?
I did. My uncle Dick was training me down, James Schuler. So.
Oh, James Schuler's gym?
Yeah. But
how long did you box for?
Not that long. He told me, if you're not going to be consistent about it, don't come back.
Well, boxing changed. I didn't have to sell drugs no more. I was selling drugs, and that's what I used to do, and I was rich. But I didn't have to do that once I got in the fight game. You know, them guys tried to kill me. You know, I wound up doing things to them that they said that, people said that I did, but I know I didn't do it. But from there, after I went to jail and got out in '79 and got in the ESPN tournament when baseball went on strike and won all them titles, beat them 5 fights and knocked out Sammy Slammy Naismith. He become number 10 contender in the world.
Yeah, he did.
I went on.
That's right.
I had a ball. You
And
know.
I like to say he's a contribution to the community.
Thank you.
Yes, he is.
You gotta be hungry.
He's a contribution to the community.
You just get away from
Get another shot, he still be the champ. He's all right with me. That's right. He come out to the community and sign autographs. That's right. He's a people's people. That's right. That's right.
Get the kids.
Get the kids. That's right. Get the kids in there.
Get the kids right here. Get the kids. Come on. Come on. Get up and get on. Come on. That's TV.
Well, really, I like to be doing with the Fletcher Foundation for real. If people want to take and put a hand in with instead of looking for money all the time, you know. These kids need us grown folks to teach them. Now, what people show about prison on TV is nothing like that. When a man done been there that can tell you all about jail. They got a lot of young men in jail with life sentences, 3 and 4, or sitting on death row with 2 or 3 of them that ain't never going to see the outside of the street again. And the Fletcher Foundation is based on that. It's based on a stay out of jail program, athletic and sport program, Bible study, cleanup and paint program. You know, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep and help these young guys and women to stay out of jail because there's no life in jail. I mean, I'm 39 years old, and it took me almost 39 years just to realize that concrete and them bars ain't doing nothing but killing you. Anytime you need, a man gonna tell you what time to go to bed, what time to take a shower, what time to get up, what time to go eat, what time you can look at TV, what time your lights come on, what time your lights go. You don't need that. When you're used to society, you can't walk around anytime you want it, you know. You're in a cell with another man. He got to use the bathroom. He got to watch you. He got to smell you, right? You know, and it ain't right. And my organization is mainly with the West Philadelphia Economic Development Corporation that is ran by Mr. Jerome Mitchell. You know, and his wife, Sandra Mills Mitchell, have the Afro-American Women's Resource Center, 23 South 52nd Street in the Renaissance Center with the Fletcher Foundation. And we are mainly trying to get people, black people, all people really, but mainly black people, to realize that we got to start coming together in unity and in harmony to stop the violence, stop the drugs dealing and selling, you know, stop people selling all the alcohol around here. You know, it's time, because if my sons and daughters see me drunk every day, first thing well, my dad's alcoholic, I can be an alcoholic, and that ain't it. Don't none of my kids see me do no drinking, nothing, beers, wine, smoke no cigarettes, cocaine, or nothing. My sons walk around here very respectable, and if they don't respect you, they know that when they come to me that he doesn't disrespect you, then he know that I'm gonna come to him, and that's the way, you know, things go.
Love you. Go Frankie. I love you. Peace, y'all.
Frank Fletcher was one incredible contender. Boy, oh boy, one of the most exciting contenders you will ever see.
Oh my God. Tell you something. All of them could fight, all the Fletchers. But Frank Animal was blood and guts. He was like Benny Briscoe. They fought you like a dog. They didn't care about you. They weren't scared of him, and they stepped to you. And I remember a lot of fights, you see blood all over with him, and he still be fighting. Unbelievable fighter he was. And he fought everybody.
He was a star, and he wasn't Sugar Ray Leonard by any stretch, and he was never going to be that. But he was a big attraction, and for boxing fans, you couldn't miss it. You know, you couldn't miss him. Yeah.
The whole Southwest Philadelphia loved my family, and plus we like one of the biggest families in the city of Philadelphia. So anywhere you went in the neighborhood, they knew who my father liked. They called me Little Animal. All the older Little Frankie, this and that, you know. So it was great coming up as a kid, especially when you're a Fletcher and a Turner in the '80s. I was great. I was proud, as a kid seeing them fight. I love both of them. I'm glad that they had the chance, to become, the boxers that they were, and leave our family a legacy. Starting with my uncle Dick Turner. So.
I was in prison, and I was never scared in prison. I was never scared to go to prison or to sleep by anybody in prison. What happened was I was on the phone one day. I was trying to call this girl up named Celestine. She told me she was going to buy me a color TV in Gradisford, but I come to find out that I was getting transferred to Dallas, and I couldn't get no TV until I got to the jail that I was at. And I had 3 minutes left on the phone, and some friend was right after me. His name was Dog, and I gave him 3 minutes. I said, look, my brother, I said, I'm going to need them 3 minutes back. You got 15. Leave me 3 minutes just to call this girl back. He was from North Philadelphia, a gang called the Valley, and they think that they run all the jails in the state of, in Philadelphia, North Philadelphia. The Valley think they run them all. They don't run none. So what happened, the boy got on the phone, and he used my 3 minutes up and his 15 minutes, and then he gonna go get one of his homies, and they gonna get crazy. And he think because this homie was lifting weights, I was supposed to be scared of him. And I walked over to him, after I come downstairs, and I walked right over to him and hit him in the mouth. Boom! And his homie that was lifting the weights took off like a jet and left him. Then the next day, I'm walking through Gradisford on 8th block, and there was 6 guys over there with 6 knives getting ready to kill me. And I didn't even see the man. And somebody told me, Frank, watch yourself. And I walked up to the front of the block to talk to a Spanish friend of mine. And he gave me a phone pad. And as I went to walk back there, the boy that I sucker punched said, come here, Frank. When I walked over to him, he sucker punched me because they told me that was already over. But when I got there, he sucker punched me. And at the same time, his homie hit me in the chest with a knife that big. Right? And when he hit me with it, he didn't stab me with it. He was so scared of me. They were scared to get close to me. He poked me with it and then he dropped it. I lifted my shirt up and looked at my chest and looked like a woman scratched me with a fingernail. I just started laughing and calling him a punk. I said, you punk, we're going to show you not to F with nobody from North Philly. I said, fuck North Philly. I said, listen to the rhyme. It don't say South is best or North is best. It says West is best. I said, it ain't gonna take 6 of us to jump on one of y'all. Just one of us niggas from West Philadelphia will fight 100 of y'all. So I'm saying, UG, I'm gonna catch you. I said, but if I catch you, I'm gonna kill you right here in Gradisford. And my friends and my homies that were there knew that if I'd have caught that guy, they didn't put him in the hole and lock me up in another hole, they know that I would have got some whack and I'd have got him in the Gradisford. And I wouldn't be out here tonight, right now today. But I let the guy go. What they wanted to do was to ship the guy out of jail because the guy done did so much stuff there. But when I went to the hearing, I told the people that he wasn't the one to stab me, So they had to let him out of the hole, and and then he went on about his business,
This is the world famous Blue Horizon. Everybody came through here and fought. Last time I was here, my uncle 40, Troy Fletcher, he fought Chucky T. Chavorsky. He wound up losing that fight, mind you. But that's the last time I was here, man. My dad fought here, Anthony fought here. All the good boxers, great boxers from Philadelphia fought here. I think you had to come through this place in order to prove yourself that you was a great Philadelphia fighter. People might say otherwise, but this is legendary right here. This Blue Horizon is legendary.
Pennsylvania Boxing Hall of Fame, clearly a guy like Frank Fletcher, his brother Anthony Fletcher, these are easy picks for the Hall of Fame. But there's a process with a ballot and a voting body. Well, Anthony was on death row and it did not appear that he would ever get out of prison, although there was always efforts to get him out. Frank, there was always this discussion that he was this close to coming out. So my thought was, why put him on the ballot while he's in prison? I said, there was some hope with Frank, let's wait. And once he comes out, then we can put him on the ballot. And actually all three brothers, Troy included, put them on the ballot, and maybe they all make it in the same year. So he went on the ballot. Once he came out, he came out of prison in April. The Hall of Fame was in May. It was too soon for that year, but said, okay, next year's the year. Put him on the ballot, see how he does. He came to the Hall of Fame just weeks after he got out of prison and was there. But he went on the ballot. The three brothers were on the ballot. Anthony and Frank were voted in the first time. Troy, it took another year or two.
Hey, back in the day, he wouldn't let get his close to him. He ain't having that. We ain't hitting the animal. Frank, come on, man. Everybody miss you, man. Love you, man.